At 11:30 p.m. local time, the Royal Navy's flagship, HMS Prince of Wales, recently sailed through highly contested waters, triggering a swift and visible response from the People's Liberation Army Navy. Within hours, multiple Chinese destroyers and support vessels shadowed the carrier strike group, maintaining a close watch on Britain's most powerful warship. The transit marked a bold assertion of the UK's right to freedom of navigation in international waters, but it also escalated tensions in one of the most volatile maritime regions in the world. China dispatched several advanced Type 052D destroyers equipped with long-range surface-to-air missiles and advanced radars to shadow the British task force. Their mission was clear: demonstrate Chinese sovereignty claims, project power, and remind the Royal Navy that Beijing views these waters as its backyard. While no direct confrontation occurred, the presence of heavily armed warships operating in close proximity was a stark reminder of how easily routine operations can spiral into crisis. Beijing's state-run media quickly framed the incident as another example of foreign powers stirring trouble in Asia. Official statements stressed China's firm resolve to safeguard sovereignty and maritime rights. At the same time, propaganda outlets portrayed the Chinese Navy's response as calm, professional, and effective, casting Britain's deployment as provocative, unnecessary, and ultimately futile. For the UK, deploying HMS Prince of Wales was not just a military maneuver, but a diplomatic signal. The aircraft carrier represents Britain's renewed global presence and its commitment to upholding international law. Its very name carries weight, a flagship associated with tradition, prestige, and the projection of maritime power. Sailing through contested waters reinforced London's message that the Indo-Pacific is not a closed sea dominated by one power. The Prince of Wales has been on an 8-month mission, Operation Highmast, since April, deploying across the Mediterranean, Middle East, Southeast Asia, Australia, and Japan as part of a pan-European initiative to maintain a naval presence in the Indo-Pacific, where the United States and China are competing for influence and dominance. The transit of the South China Sea follows the September 12th passage of the Royal Navy frigate HMS Richmond through the Taiwan Strait, a shipping lane claimed by China. The British Defense Ministry defended the voyage, stating that its naval forces exercise freedom of navigation in accordance with international law and norms. Having transited the South China Sea, it's great for us to be back in Singapore, the United Kingdom Carrier Strike Group said on the social media platform X on Saturday. Its arrival in the Southeast Asian island nation was confirmed by ship tracking data. This marked the second time the Prince of Wales-led task force has made a port call in Singapore, at the southern tip of the South China Sea, since late June, according to a Newsweek map. At the time, it was en route to Australia after operations near India. After visiting Australia in late July, the British aircraft carrier operated in the Western Pacific and made 2 stopovers in Japan. In early September, it entered the Sea of Japan, known in the 2 Koreas as the East Sea near Russian Far East coastline. Prior to its transit of the South China Sea, the Prince of Wales deployed its F-35B stealth fighter jets for a trilateral exercise with American and Japanese military aircraft east of Japan's southwestern island of Okinawa in the Philippine Sea on September 11th. However, it was not immediately clear whether the Chinese military deployed forces to shadow the British aircraft carrier during its transit of the South China Sea. Meanwhile, China, which operates the world's largest navy by hull count, has sent its 3rd and most advanced aircraft carrier, CNS Fujian, to the South China Sea near the southern province of Hainan for testing and training after transiting the Taiwan Strait. Adding to the tension, China scrambled fighter aircraft and surveillance drones to monitor the British warship. The presence of J-16 and Su-30 fighters overhead signaled Beijing's readiness to escalate beyond the surface domain. By pairing air and naval assets, China created a multi-layered monitoring network designed to intimidate and demonstrate control over the skies and seas alike. This confrontation occurred against a backdrop of increasing military competition in the Indo-Pacific. The South China Sea and nearby waterways are flashpoints where U.S., British, Australian, and Japanese navies routinely operate to challenge Beijing's sweeping territorial claims. China, in turn, views these missions as direct threats to its sovereignty. The encounter with HMS Prince of Wales highlights how the Indo-Pacific has become the center of great power rivalry in the 21st century. Several lessons emerge from this incident. Proximity risks. Warships and aircraft operating at close quarters increase the chance of miscalculation. Deterrence signaling. Britain's carrier presence underscored Allied commitment to freedom of navigation, but it also tested China's threshold for tolerating foreign operations. Integrated responses. China's rapid deployment of destroyers and fighters showed how it can coordinate multi-domain assets to shadow foreign navies. The standoff underscores a fundamental question. Who controls the global commons? If China can successfully intimidate or deter foreign navies from entering contested waters, it will shift the balance of maritime law in its favor. On the other hand, continued operations by Western navies reinforce the principle that these are international waters open to all. For smaller nations in Southeast Asia, the incident sends a clear message. The region is becoming increasingly militarized, and great power rivalry is shaping their future. The shadowing of HMS Prince of Wales by Chinese destroyers is more than a tactical encounter. It is a snapshot of the new maritime reality. As competition intensifies, the risks of miscalculation grow. The world is watching how far Britain and its allies are willing to go to defend international law, and how far China is willing to push back. Do you think these operations deter aggression or risk escalation? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on the latest global defense developments.